Live from Orlando, Florida, you're listening to the Orlando Magic HQ podcast, the voice of Magic fans. Join us every week for a unique fan perspective on all of the latest Magic news and updates. The show starts now.
What's up, Magic fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Orlando Magic HQ podcast, brought to you by the FanDuel and the BLEAV podcast network. We're your hosts, Al, myself, Anthony. Today is Saturday, August 23rd, and Al, it feels like it's been a really hot minute since we last recorded. We've been enjoying our summer, taking a little bit of a break before the grind ends up starting up here in the next couple months of the season. Al, what's going on, man? How you doing? How's your summer going?
Man, it's going well. It's flying by. I can't believe that it's already the 23rd of August, and we're really only about a month-ish away from training camp and really a month and a half from preseason. To your point, we both agreed, hey, let's disconnect a little bit this summer, spend time with family. It's going to be a long season. Hopefully the Magic will be playing basketball next year, late into May, hopefully into June. So we're mentally getting ready for that. So I hope you guys understand. We've been waiting for some updates and some news to kind of deliver a quality episode, not just throw something out there to say, hey, we did a podcast.
Man.
But man, it's going well. How about you?
Yeah, it's going good. Enjoying the summer activities with the kids, the family, the beaches, the pools. Obviously having, if you're in Florida, you're navigating through all these crazy thunderstorms and dodging these hurricanes that look like they're coming close, and then they end up backing out last minute, which has been good. But yeah, man, not a whole lot of Orlando Magic things happening. Obviously, a big break after the NBA draft. It's a little quiet, silent. So in today's episode, we are going to be catching up on some of the things that we missed out that we haven't had a chance to talk about. And obviously, when we think back of the whole reason why we even started this podcast early on, has always been due to the fact that there's just been a void in Magic discussions, right? If you were lucky to go on SportsCenter, ESPN, and catch like 30 seconds of them talking about the Orlando Magic, it was a good day and it was lucky, right? And then for us, just being able to have an outlet to talk about the Orlando Magic, man. So simple as that. Not anything too complicated. So we're gonna be doing that today. We're gonna be talking about some of the things that we missed out with Caleb Houston, some of their two-way roster moves. The biggest thing has been the schedule release. So that's finally out. They've announced some really exciting games internationally, and we're going to break some of that down. But before we do, just a quick reminder, don't forget to follow us on our social media accounts. We are everywhere. If you're on Instagram, Orlando Magic HQ, on X, Magic HQ, so you can stay up to date. We're always posting things from rumors to updates to news, anything that's happening. And also, we'd really appreciate it if you like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, or you can also leave a 5-star rating on your favorite podcasting listening platform. It goes a long way, helps us continue to grow our audience and reach even more Magic fans with, the content that we love creating. All right, simple as that. So, Al, let's jump right into it. So, the FanDuel projections for the Magic right now, when it comes to our win total. So now we're looking into the projection. We kind of already see, right, we're at the finalized point where we know what our roster looks like. For the most part, fingers crossed, we're looking pretty healthy, right? Which means absolutely, this, it means absolutely nothing. Because I remember the words that Coach Mo said last season going into training camp that we are 100% healthy, right? That was exciting. Obviously, last season was probably one of the most injured, riddled season that we've had in a minute. But bearing any of that, ignoring all that negativity, when it comes to win total projections, FanDuel has us at a minus 125, winning over 50.5 wins. And then they have us minus 106, under 50.5 wins. So FanDuel is pretty much saying, there's if you're trying to make some money when it comes to this discussion, it's better for you to vote the under, right? If you want to make money. So I guess my question to you is when you look at the 50.5 mark, which is a hell of a season, knowing what you know about the Magic, the upgrades that we made, the draft picks, what we hope is, our team, our roster developing this summer and getting better. And if we can, fingers crossed, stay healthy, where do you see the Magic's landing? Would you take the over? Would you take the under? Where do you fall in that category?
So if you remember last year, I actually was one of the few people that said, hey, like, I think it was a projection was 47 wins. And I said, I don't see it. And I ended up going under. And I got blasted for that in our season preview episode. Like, people were like, why? You don't think we're going to win 47 games or more? We had just won 47 that previous season. So with this one, I'm going to go the over. I think with the Magic, the changes that we've made, bringing in Desmond Bain, having a healthy Paolo and Franz heading into the season, Jalen Suggs will be back, much better depth in our bench. I don't see the Magic not winning at least 51 games. Think about it this way. We won 47 games a year before, 41 last year in what was one of the most, to your point, one of the most injury-riddled season that we've had in a long time. I don't see us not winning more than 10 games than we did last year. So if you ask me if I was putting a bet at this moment on this projections by FanDuel, I would go the over. I think the Magic wins somewhere between 53 and 55 games this year. Of course, this is assuming healthy team, assuming that we get, a solid contribution from everyone as we expecting them to. And don't forget, we expect all these guys to be a little bit better. They're young, they're developing, they're getting better each year. They haven't reached their prime. So Paolo's going to be 5% better. Franz also. Jalen Suggs, the same. So if you ask me, going to over is a safe route. What about you?
Yeah, you look at last season. Last season was really, you would have to call it a wash, because you really didn't get the full potential from the team with all the injuries that we dealt with. So you take a look at the year before, which is where we're taking Cleveland to Game 7 in the first round. And that season we ended up with 47 wins. So comparing, right, we're incorporating the fact that now we're still going to continue how elite we are in defense. We're still going to be a top 3 defensive team. You're hoping that the offense drastically improves with the addition of Desmond Bain and Tyus Jones. You're expecting healthy players. These are all elements that you can kind of add to it. But then on top of that, you're also looking at the East being a open season, right? Where the East is a lot weaker, and the teams, you're really going to be worried about, the Knicks. You're going to be worried about Cleveland. Like these are the 2 teams that projection wise across the board, people are putting ahead of the Orlando Magic, right? Orlando Magic now being discussed in that top 3, which is nice to hear. If everything goes right, yeah, man, how do you not see this team winning more than 50.5 games? Now, this is obviously you and I being complete homers, right? Nobody else is saying that. We have that much confidence. Now, if you're telling me, and you got to bet the house, no, I'm not betting the house. And this is why. Injuries, man. Injuries. There's nothing that this team has done to prove to me that they are healthy. Now, there's some things that I do like that the Magic have done, right? So we know that no Jalen Suggs drastically hurt this team, because it put more pressure on Paolo, put more pressure on Franz Wagner. They obviously have to handle the basketball so much more than they did. And they had the crazy situation with the whole oblique injury. So the issue with Jalen Suggs going out is who is that next person to kind of take the responsibility off of Paolo and Franz? And there was nobody. It's not like they handed the keys to Anthony Black to be able to do that. Towards the end of the season, postseason, we gave that to Corey Joseph, and that was an okay Band-Aid. But we got Tyus Jones that's able to do that, and that's, to me, I love the fact that we added Desmond Bain. Still debatable in terms of everything that was given up for him, but Tyus Jones, being able to sign him to a 1-year deal as a free agent is huge, because he's your insurance in the event that Jalen Suggs does go down. And if he is able to stay healthy, then there's still a lot of benefits that you get from him being able to spearhead that second unit. So I'm not betting the house on it. As a homer, you and I having this conversation, yeah, we're going to get over 50.5 wins. But if I'm putting the house on it, I'm taking the under just because of health reasons and health reasons only.
I mean, I see your point. I really do. I just think that this year, man, I don't see us repeating the same as last year. Like, I don't think Paulo's going to miss 2 months. I don't think Fran's going to miss 2 months nearly at the same time as well. Hopefully that's the case, right? So I see your point. I think injuries with the Magic is always a concern. Unfortunately, we have been hit with them tremendously for the past 5 years.
Yeah.
I think one healthy year is all we've had, the one that we won 47 games. So I think health is the biggest component. So if you're making this bet, you're relying on health for the Orlando Magic. So again, if we are healthy, though, I don't see this team again in a weaker East. You're really competing against the Knicks and the Cavaliers. Everybody else, we should be able to be comfortably on a given night, at least on the Eastern Conference. The West is a monster. So going on that, I think, again, 50.5 wins should be achievable, but it's all about health. If we can stay healthy, I think we can do it.
Agreed. Caleb Houston. So the big news with Caleb, once the Magic started trickling down their final moves for the roster, there was a little of uncertainty whether or not we're going to bring Caleb Houston back, we're going to let him go, save some money, whatever the case may be. Ultimately, we find out that Caleb Houston is signing with the Atlanta Hawks. So here's my thing, and here's my feeling about Caleb, is that Caleb has always been the player that you were expecting more from, right? He was supposed to be your pure shooter on the team. Till this day, I will tell you that out of every player on our roster, he had the prettiest shot, and there's no blocking it, right? He's your pure shooter, 6'8", still one of the only players his height that has not been able to get one single dunk in the game, which I think is a hilarious stat. But on paper, you look at his stats and you think that this would be an amazing 15th guy. Like, if you can get this guy as your 15th man, that's huge, right? This past year, he, finished 42% from the 3-point line off of, almost 3 attempts. Like, that's for a Magic team that has shown to be terrible from shooting. You expect him for us to want to keep a guy like that. But I'll be honest with you, I am not batting one eye. I wish him the best. But there was a lot of things that on paper is one thing, and seeing it on the floor was another. And man, I like the fact that the Magic, they're moving on, man. If you're not, we're at a point where we can't care too much about the 15th roster spot, right? At some point, you gotta really think about your core guys, and obviously the Magic have to be a little more strategic when it comes to their money system with this roster. But I wish Caleb Houston the best. A Michigan guy, I get it. He, in my opinion, this season, I won't miss seeing Caleb out. There's not going to be one point in the season where I'm like, damn, man, we could have really used Caleb Houston. You hope that somebody like a Jet Howard, right, can fill whatever Caleb Houston got for us last year in terms of minutes and productions. You hope that Jet Howard's able to give us double that, right? We're at a point where, we're a few seasons into his NBA career now where we need something from him, right? So you're hoping that whatever we get from Jet Howard, nobody's even talking about Caleb Houston. I can't even believe I'm comparing the two right now, but you hope that you're just not going to care about Caleb Houston because he really didn't give us anything anyways.
So I think with Caleb, unfortunately, he's a casualty of the new NBA, cap rules. Unfortunately, the Magic cannot afford to really sign a 15th player at this moment. Unless they make a trade, they don't have the ability to use that 15th roster spot. So even if they wanted him back, it just was not doable. If I'm not mistaken, and maybe I'm wrong on this, the only way that he could have been brought back is as a two-way player. And now I'm pretty sure he probably said, let me go around, let me see what I can get in the NBA. If I can get a roster spot guaranteed, why wouldn't I? Hey, the Hawks offered you that. he took the chance. So I think he's going to be missed just because he's one of those guys that doesn't do much, right? He's a shooter, he's a solid defender, but he came in and didn't make mistakes. And I think that's the biggest thing with Caleb Houston, that he just came in, he did his job, he knew what his limitations were, he knew how to do his job well. And when he got it going, man, like he was a sharpshooter. Like he was a guy you had to guard out there. I'll never forget, like towards the end of that last season when we went on that little run to make the playoffs and secure our playoff spot, he was a key player in that. Like he came in, he gave us some solid minutes. He won a nice run, making a ton of shots. So we'll miss that from him. But to your point, the first thing that came to mind with thinking like, okay, he's gone, he's not coming back. Who steps up? And that needs to be Jay Howard. And that goes to in multiple levels. That also goes to competing against Tristan da Silva for that backup three position. Like, is that going to be Tristan's job or is that going to be Jay Howard's job? So Jet has a very, very big season ahead for him. He has to figure out, is he going to be an Orlando Magic player after this season, or is this the last that we're seeing from him? But keeping it to just Caleb, I'll miss him. I'll miss the fact that I can rely on him. If a guy goes out with an injury last minute, he can step in and fill in. And it's weird because he was a guy that really barely ever played off the bench. But when somebody went out, we put him in the starting lineup. So that tells you that we trusted him to go in and kind of perform when we needed him. So best of luck to him. Unfortunately, I think of him like I think of Cole Anthony. He's a guy that you'll see you root for when we're not playing against them. So best of luck to him, man. But because I mean, as a second round pick, he did way better than we expected.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Like I think nobody expected him to contribute as much as he did for us.
Yeah, and he averaged close to 14, 15 minutes a game last season. Jay Howard was very close to that 11-minute mark. So again, it just opens up more opportunity for the guys that we have a little more stock in. And speaking of Cole Anthony, definitely some news since we last recorded. Cole Anthony, obviously a part of that Memphis move. Ended up getting bought out and then joins the Milwaukee Bucks, which is not ideal because, listen, regardless of how the experience of Cole Anthony has been with the Magic, he's still somebody that he's a hooper, man, and he showed flashes of his older self or younger self where he's won us some basketball games. He can put the ball on the floor. He can put the ball in the hoop. This dude can play ball. Like there's no nepotism when it comes to Cole Anthony in the sense of favoritism. This is somebody that can really contribute. So him joining Milwaukee, it's going to be interesting to see his impact on that team because he is somebody that, one, believes he can be a starter in this league. We've heard the interviews that he's had previously before in the past. He feels like he can't be that guy. We've seen it. And I'm still going to be rooting for Cole Anthony. Like I hope when we play Milwaukee, we beat Milwaukee, but I also hope that Cole has a really strong game against us, and the fact that he's not going alone, man, he's going to be out there with Gary Harris. So they stockpiled on some Magic, some old Magic assets, and I think it's going to be really good for him. I did like the fact that this was something that was definitely already in the works because Cole Anthony was radio silent since the move from Memphis, right? Didn't really post anything on social media. I think maybe we saw one social media post from Memphis with Cole Anthony in a Memphis uniform. Photoshop, but outside of that, radio silent. It wasn't until the move with Milwaukee that we saw him now really embracing it. And then we also saw some things too that his dad Greg Anthony played for the Bucks organization, and the fact that he's going to be kind of following that chain is pretty neat too. So I'm happy for Cole Anthony, and this is Cole Anthony going into a good situation. I can't tell you exactly off the top of my head like what their depth chart is in Milwaukee and how much time and minutes that he's really going to see. But I really hope that he's able to carve out a rotation and be a part of what they're trying to do.
Yeah, and it's funny because you got the Bucks with now Cole Anthony, but you also have Gary Harris with the Bucks. So the Bucks are supposed to be, one of those teams in the East that, again, if healthy, are going to be competing for the top 4 seeds in the East. So it's going to be fun to see Cole come back to Orlando, Gary Harris come back to Orlando for those Bucks against Magic games, because those should mean something. And you know Cole Anthony really well. We all know him. He's a competitive guy. He wants to win. He wants to play well. So those two games will mean a lot to him. Coming back to Orlando, trying to show, hey, like, you guys made a mistake by letting me go. But I think that was probably in the works, to your point. I think when that trade went down, he was told, we're not going to keep you in Memphis. We're going to find you a better spot. And I think he had a decision to make. Where do I want to go? And I think the Bucks was ultimately a good decision for him. They don't have Dame Lillard anymore. They need some guard play to help Giannis. So I think he has a good chance to go in there. I don't think he'll win the starting point guard position by any means, but I think he has a good chance to be what he should have been for the Magic, and that is a sixth man, seventh man coming in and just adding offense for the Bucks. The problem is, can he actually do it? Because the Magic wanted him to do that, and unfortunately, he couldn't deliver. Time and time again, he got a chance. He did it a few times last year. He won on some games. Let's not forget about those. But unfortunately, that consistency was the issue with Cole Anthony. So hopefully he can figure it out. I'll be rooting for him for the rest of his career. Again, he's a Magic lifer in my eyes. But unfortunately, he's not wearing a Magic jersey anymore. So when we face him, hopefully he struggles. Outside of that, go out there and kill the Knicks, kill the Cavs, and help us out.
Yeah, he's somebody that just needed a new environment. Like, he just needed a fresh start. It's simple as that. I don't know what happened, and how he was forced to kind of take that back seat, and he was just more into his head. I want to blame it on the haircut, and that's just me personally. I have this thing where, you know, players on the Magic who cut their hair, they just not end up being the same type of player. You can look at, you know, Markelle Fultz as an example. Anthony Black better not ever touch that hair. We want to make sure that we are on the steady climb, and I feel like for whatever reason it just messes up these guys' balances. But well, yeah, just
tell you what real quick. So Jay Howard just got his hair. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah. And what's the first thing I said?
What'd you say?
Oh, you're supposed to tell me what I said. You're part of the group. No, that man, it's just there's always been, history has shown a decline with when these players cut their hair. You know, it's like
Jay Howard decline anymore? I don't think so.
Very good point. Evan Fournier is another one, man. Oh, yeah. He cut the hair. He decided to go to the Philippines for the summer, dye his hair blonde, and ended up burning his hair, and then went bald. And the minute that he went bald is when people started hating him. So just kind of looking at the Milwaukee Bucks depth chart real quick, they have Cole Anthony listed as their backup point guard right behind Kevin Porter. So yeah, man,
makes sense.
I hope there's opportunity for him, room for him. Hope he does well. Hope they lose against us, but I hope they do well. Yeah, man. So when it comes to two-way roster moves, Magic obviously made some changes. They waived Ethan Thompson, who wasn't a two-way player with us for too long, but still, nonetheless, they ended up signing Orlando Robinson and Jamal Cain to two-way contracts. So it's great that they're making their moves. There's definitely just doing a little research. There's good upside with those players, but again, we're winning now, man. There's no reason for us to really care at this point for, like, I'm not putting too much stock into the two-way side. Like, the only time you really want something to come out of your two-way is if you have to deal with the injuries and you have to be able to kind of fill in. Outside of that, there's no reason why your two-way players should be playing. So we're hoping that healthy season and we don't have to worry about, too much impact from the two-way guys. So obviously the Magic still have one roster spot and a two-way spot open. And then we have just a couple players that signed already their Exhibit 10 contract, Lester Quinones and then Colin Castleton. So they'll be either competing for the final two-way spot, towards the end of the training camp. So how are you feeling with how this roster looks like as we get closer and closer to training camp?
I think how we started the episode, I'll say it again, man. If we enter the season with this roster healthy, I feel really, really good, man. The starting lineup is solid. We still haven't figured out Jalen Suggs' situation. Like, is he good to go for training camp? Is he not? If he is, and we can, head to opening night with Jalen Suggs, the starting point guard, Desmond Bane, Franz, Paolo, and Wendell, right from day one and stay healthy, man, this team is going to be solid. Our depth of the bench is again solid, right? You look at Anthony Black, Tyus Jones, Tristan or Jay Howard. By the way, Jonathan Isaac has looked great this summer. He seems to be a lot leaner, looks to be more athletic, more mobile out there in the videos that we've seen. So hopefully J.I. is back to his former self, because last year he did never look like the old J.I. And lastly, if we can get Goga initially, but then eventually transition to Mo Wagner when he returns, man, we're solid. Like 1 to 11, we have a really, really solid roster. To your point, this two-way guys, I'm not putting too much into them, but I do like the fact that they have NBA experience. So I think I was researching here quickly. Orlando Robinson has played in about 111 NBA games already in his career. And Kane has played in about 90 NBA games already in his career. So these are guys that, even though they're two ways, they have NBA experience. So what does that mean? To your point, God forbid, we dealt some injuries. They got to come in and step in from Kissimmee. They have experience. They won't be, like, oh my God, the lights are too bright for me all of a sudden. They know what to do. They know their roles. They're athletic. They can shoot the three. They can play defense. So they fit our identity. They fit what we do in Orlando. So again, this roster, 1 through 14, plus the two-way guys, are here to help. They're here to help us win games. So it's exciting. It's honestly the best roster we've had. I can only go back to the 2010 season. The last time I remember the Magic being this loaded. So on paper, we look great. Let's see what happens now when we actually go out there and actually play basketball.
So when you look at the roster, just from a prediction standpoint, if there's one name that you can pick, who would be the one that takes the biggest leap this year? And I'm not talking about somebody that's going to lead us above whoever. I'm talking about from what we saw last season to their growth of this season. Who would be that one player that you can, put your money on that improves the most?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm debating between three guys. I think Anthony Black is due to really come in and show what he really can do. He was picked 6th in the draft for a reason. He's shown us flashes. He's been working a ton once again this summer on his outside shot, playmaking.
He's been working with the guard whisperer, which is amazing.
Yes, sir. So he's due for a breakout season. I think that's one name to keep in mind. The second one is Jay Howard. It's all on the table for him. Like, this is your season, man. Like,
he doesn't have to do much. He doesn't have to do much.
So him and Tristan are the guys that really, if they can become solid contributors and give us what we need off the bench, and that means hit 3-point shots and give us maybe 8 to 12 points per night consistently, those are three guys that, to me, like, can really make a difference for us off the bench. Starting lineup wise, I think we've seen Paolo reach what he can do. He might get a little bit better points per game and things like that. Maybe make it to the All-NBA. But really, the guys that are going to really go from like being solid to being great, I'll say AB to give you an answer. I think AB is the one guy that I have my eyes on, that if he can come in and be what we all expect him to be, man, like, watch out. Like, he might compete for eventually saying, like, I should be the starting point guard in this team. Or we can trade him when he has enough value for what we may need at that time. But I think AB is a guy that should be able to come in and give us a solid season and transition into what we all expected AB to be from day one.
Yeah, I'll give you my 3. I agree with Anthony Black. Part of the reason why I like the Tyus Jones move so much in terms of, giving him a 1-year contract and bringing him on board is that you're not committing long term, right? I still have hopes that Anthony Black can still be like your point guard. Like, I still have hope. I haven't lost that. And granted, last season, we utilized him more in other positions, and I'm expecting the same thing this year. But I still believe, man, how crazy would your starting lineup be if your point guard is 6'7", 6'8", 7 foot tall with his hair, like, and just being a monster on defense, just him and Jalen Suggs. If he can just get there for us offensively with his 3-point shooting, he already does such a great job at penetrating and getting to the lane. Defense, we know that it's there. Playmaking, I would love to see more of it. It would be scary, right? So Anthony Black for sure, but in my opinion, he already grew so much from last season. He took a big leap for us last season.
Hmm.
Um, the person that I would be looking at, the other two, is Jonathan Isaac, just because he had a disastrous season last year. And you're right,
Yep.
from the pictures that we've seen, the little bit of the workout videos that has come up, he looks great. The issue is that last season he ended up gaining the 30 pounds, and obviously that was meant for experimenting with him more in the 5 role, and we just didn't see what we wanted from what we are used to getting with Jonathan Isaac, especially in a
Hmm.
limited minute role that he was in, right? And especially in that 10-15 minute mark. So I'm expecting, he looks leaner. I'm expecting for us to get back to all NBA defense Jonathan Isaac. So for me, if he can get back to that from where he was last season, that's a massive leap, because that's not something that we necessarily had in our arsenal to be able to utilize. And then the third name I'd give is, and this obviously is not very hard to compare the leap, but I got my money on Jace Richardson. Like, and I'm gonna use Cole Anthony as his comparison, like his base. I'm gonna use Cole Anthony's season last year to Jace Richardson, because I feel like Jace Richardson is just filling into that Cole Anthony role. And I
Yep.
feel I have a feeling that he's going to be able to fill a lot of those gaps that we wanted Cole Anthony to do. And I think that he's just going to do the right things. And he's going to surprise a lot of people. Like if you remember Cole Anthony, his rookie season, and how exciting it was, from his athleticism to that huge game winning shot that Cole Anthony had. I'm not expecting any of that from Jace Richardson, but what I am expecting is, this isn't just just drafted the rookie just to draft a rookie to include in our team. Like there's a lot of belief in them. So those are my 3 names. And man, if you can get 2 of those guys to really take a leap, in addition to the guys that we have now, we're going to be all right. Because what you're getting with Desmond Bane. You know what you're getting with Tyus Jones. Can we get a little more consistency from Wendell Carter at the 5 spot? When we get Mo Wagner back, can we get back? Can he pick up where he left off? How long is it going to take for him to really, get back to the Mo Wagner that we know and love? So there's a lot of pathways to who can really take the lead, but those would be my 3.
Yeah, no, I like it. I think that the JI one, to me, also it's a game changer, because if he can come in and be that defensive anchor that he had been for so many years for us, and give us more than 50 minutes a night. I'm going to say that too, because I think JI, now 3 years recovered from his injuries, should be able to give us 20, 25 minutes a night consistently. That's a game changer for us, man. If you can throw him out there with Bane, with Wendell, with Jalen Suggs, like, that's a defensive nightmare for the opponents. So hopefully we'll see the JI back. And Jace Richardson, I would just say, do you think he'll play a lot early in the season? Like, I don't see him playing much, unless, again, injuries become an issue. But if we're fully healthy with AB, Tyus, and Jalen Suggs, I don't see how he cracks the rotation initially. But again, through injuries throughout the season, yes, he'll get a chance. But do you think he'll be part of the rotation day one?
No, I don't
Okay.
think so. Just because, so Tristan da Silva, his rookie season, we got to see a lot from Tristan da Silva until we did it. So
Yep.
it's Magic are win now, and rookies are going to be rookies, or the vets are going to be prioritized, and yeah, pending any injuries. But I still think crack a rotation. Coach Mose is known to use every player in his book. So will he crack a rotation? Maybe not necessarily a role, but yeah, he'll get minutes. It's going to be up to him to be able to show that, I'm a rookie, I'm undersized. You're still going to utilize me because I can help win ball games. Because Tristan da Silva, he was somebody that didn't make any mistakes. He went in, and he wasn't dropping 25 points a game, but he was making the right reads. He was scoring when he wasn't forcing anything. He was scoring when he needed to. So defense is straight away, and it's 3-point shot. Everyone's 3-point shot can always be better, but he did decent. So Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
And I'll tell you what, Tristan's a guy to keep an eye on, man. He's playing
Yeah.
with France out there with Team Germany in the FIBA
And they
World
say
Cup.
he's looking good.
And I mean, based on the highlights that we've seen, he's looked really good. Summer League, he looked incredible. So keep an eye on Tristan, man. Tristan's a kid that, again, he'll be fighting with Jett Howard for minutes off the bench. That's going to be a fun battle because those are two guys that, again, want to get in the rotation from day one. Both will get plenty of chances. But Tristan's a guy that, unlike Jett Howard, does not make mistakes. He just goes out there. He knows his role, kind of like Caleb Houston, right? Like he just knows his role. He knows what to do. But he can actually attack the basket, unlike Caleb. He can make 3-point shots, play solid defense, good height. Keep an eye on that kid. I think that he's out. He's one of those things that we should have mentioned, I think, as potentials to make a difference for us if he can elevate his game just a little bit. So keep an eye on him.
Yeah. And so they released the schedule for the 25-26 season. So some of the highlights that really came out, Magic will have 14 nationally televised games, which is a huge increase from the past 10 years or something like that. So
yeah.
Games will be on NBC, ESPN, Prime Video being one of the newest ones from the new broadcast partner. So we know that some of the aspects are a little different. We're still trying to figure that out, but still, any national coverage for the Orlando Magic is going to be huge. The longest road trip for the Magic is 5 games. Magic play a total of 14 back-to-back games, which is we're tied for the lowest. I think the highest that I saw was 16 back-to-back games. There was a lot of 16, there was a lot of 15, and then 14 being one of the lowest. So that's a really good look for the Magic. The longest homestand is 4 games, and then the Magic will have 2 international games against the Memphis Grizzlies, which is January 15th in Berlin, Germany, and then January 18th in London, England, which is going to be pretty cool. And then we have a preseason game against the Miami Heat in Puerto Rico, which will be preseason, so it won't impact the records. But I didn't get a chance to look. Is the Memphis Grizzlies, so the 2 international games, do you know if those are counted as home or away games for us?
It's actually split. So one is going to be home, one is going to be away.
Okay. Yeah. So hopefully that Berlin one is, I'll take that one as a home game.
It should be, hopefully. Right? Because I mean, you're thinking about that's France and Mo Wagner's homecoming.
We're bringing royalty to that game, man. Franz and Mo, that's German royalty.
And
so that's going to be pretty cool. Interesting. Yep.
Yeah, man. But schedule-wise, I mean, I've learned over the years, you look at the schedule and it is what it is. You're going to be playing 82 games. You're going to play people 41 times on the road, 41 times at home. It is what it is. You got to go out there and beat the opponents, right? But I got to say, this schedule to me seems lighter than the ones that we've had in recent memory. It felt like in recent memory, we've been killed with early season, heavy road trips, West Coast road trips. And then we end the season with a bunch of home games. This year's a little bit backwards. It seems like we play a bunch of games at home early on. Mm-hmm. Then we go on the road towards the end of the season quite often. So a little bit different. But to your point, not that many back-to-backs. We get to experience some international games, which is always good for team bonding. And we get some love on national TV. So I think the schedule, much like our roster, seems pretty improved, pretty light compared to other seasons for us. But ultimately, man, it's going to come down to those 82 games. Can you beat the opponent more than you lose, right? That's ultimately it. It's the same teams, same competition you're doing every single year. So, but what about you? Are there any key takeaways for you from this schedule? Anything you kind of like, anything you dislike about it? Again, from my perspective, it's one of the best schedules that we've seen for us in recent memory.
Yeah, I got to look at the date, but from my understanding, the our first road trip is a little later on in the season. So, when you add a player like Desmond Bane, you're the way that you play is changing, right? Because you're expecting for us to be more effective from the 3-point line. And then you add Tyus Jones, and then again, we don't know how much the rookies are going to play, but you're essentially adding a good amount of new players to this team. So the fact that you're going to get some time to really gel with your team, build that team chemistry even more, because we already know that this team has a very, very solid team chemistry. The fact that you get an opportunity to really be a little more cohesive before you go on the first road trip, I think is going to be awesome. So it's it's exciting, man. So these international trips, as much as I hate taking away from our home games internationally because you just don't know. You teams obviously play better at home, but I think that these are also opportunities for these guys to bond really well with one another. So it's going to be exciting. We saw clips already of Desmond Bain already working out with some of the guys, which is pretty neat. So man, this season is going to come sooner rather than later, and it's going to blink by. When we take a look at training camp is at the end of September. October 4th would be our first preseason game versus the Heat, and then October 22nd is the season opener against the Heat. We got like maybe one more month, and then we're jumping right back into this new season.
It's crazy. It's crazy to think about how quickly we're getting there. The last thing I'll mention before we wrap up is our NBA Cup schedule. So that also was announced recently. So we play our first two games at home. So Friday, November 7th against the Celtics. That's going to be fun. And then Friday, November 14th, also at home against the Brooklyn Nets. And then the last two games of the group stage will be against the Philadelphia 76ers on the road, Tuesday, November 25th. Thursday, November 28th at Detroit. So we played the Celtics and Brooklyn at home, Philly and Detroit on the road. How do you feel about that setup for us in the group stage? Do you like our chances? Would you rather have played maybe Detroit or Philly at home? What are your thoughts on that?
We want the smoke, man. This is the year of proving that the Magic are for real. Um, from a national media perspective, everyone is trying to sound like the smart analyst, right? Where they're picking the Orlando Magic to surprise, or we're picking the Orlando Magic. Obviously, now have everything that they need. Everyone's trying to sound smart and intelligent, picking the Magic, right? The Magic are for real. And we know this. They've already proven, and the proof is the fact that we were still able to have a successful season with the amount of injuries that we've had. We still, Coach Most was still able to figure it out. So the Cup, it doesn't matter what the schedule is. We need to be able to show dominance, and I think that the only way you do that, and you do that early, is through the Cup, because the Cup is what's going to kind of, and not that it's the end all be all, but man, the Lakers threw up a freaking banner in their arena for winning the first Cup, so it's teams. Obviously, I hope the Magic don't do that, because that would be embarrassing, but teams obviously they take these Cup games serious, and they should, because it adds more pressure, it adds more competition early on to make these games mean and matter more. And the Magic need to show that we're for real, and we need to do that early on. We have to be able to show that we're not a team that people can just sleep on anymore. We need to show that we're better than Miami, that you come to Florida and we're the team to beat, where we know that we are on paper, but can we physically do that? Can we physically do that against Cleveland? Cleveland's a team that we've struggled with. And then the Knicks is the talk of the town, man. They're saying that the Knicks are going to take it, right? They have the roster, they have the players, they have the firepower. It's can we take it up? And they're going through changes, because they obviously have a brand new head coach, and they're gonna have new systems, schemes, whatever the case may be. But we need to show that we're top dog in the East. And we've done that. We've shown that we can be top 4, top 3. There's moments where we kind of held the fort down for a little bit in that 2 seed. Can we be number 1? Is it unrealistic for the Magic to be number 1? Is it unrealistic for the Magic to really surprise these teams? Because the goal, we know what the goal is this year. The goal is to get out of the first round. But the way that this roster is set up, and the way that we know that we can play, whether we're homers or not, it's not crazy to think that the Magic could push the envelope. We saw what Indiana was able to do last year, and that was a huge surprise. So how far can the Magic really take it? But you set the tone with the Cup. So it doesn't matter what the schedule is, who we play, where we play. Magic, they just need to show dominance quick, early, jump out the gate.
I think for us, the key is going to be, I want to see us at least reach semifinals, the finals of the NBA Cup. Last year, we made it to the quarterfinals. We were not healthy, unfortunately. We ended up losing that game. But I would love to see us reach the semifinals, the finals, like make some noise in the NBA Cup, make people aware that, hey, we're here. We're here to be a team that's going to be a tough out. People know that already, but show it now. And to your point, ultimately, this season is all about, can we get out of the first round? That shouldn't even be a question, right? Like, we shouldn't even be just hoping to make the playoffs. It's got to be, we got to get out of the first round. So hopefully you're a top 3 seed in the East. You're facing a team that just, maybe made it out of the play-in. They're tired. You take advantage of that. You go and beat them easily, 4-1 in the first round, and you get going from there. But man, it's going to be a fun season. I can't wait. I cannot wait. It's another month or so that we have to wait for training camp and our first preseason game. But it's getting closer and closer. And I think it's the most exciting season we've had as a Magic fan base. I know all the Magic Twitter, X, all the Magic fans on Instagram, we're excited. So it's time to show it up now. The front office did their job. Our ownership group did their job. We have the rebrand. We have the new Jumbotron, which, by the way, we saw that too. We saw some images of the Jumbotron house coming together. That looks really nice. We have everything we've ever wanted in one offseason. We made the big trade. Again, the rebrand, the Jumbotron. What else is there? We'll find out between now and the start of the season, but it's what we've all wanted. We've been saying this for years in this podcast. When are we going to consolidate? When are we going to rebrand? It all happened. Now it's time to go out there, show up,
do it.
Make some noise.
1,000%. Man, really good stuff, Al. Good episode. This episode of the Orlando Magic HQ podcast brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel's got you covered with competitive odds and tons of betting options. Just remember to bet responsibly and have fun with it. As a wrap, thank you guys for listening, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
For all the latest Magic news and updates, visit OrlandoMagicHQ.com and follow us on Instagram at Orlando Magic HQ and on Twitter at OMagicHQ. Also, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and subscribe and leave a 5-star review on your favorite listening platform.